And then what happened?
So you were able to come to my graduation. You were finishing up at BYU that summer. And so you came down to my graduation, and my mother was there, and Sandy was there with some of her children and her husband. So that was a nice experience, and I was glad to be done with that. And then we went on, ended up having to live in California for 2 weeks, and then the military said, you better go to your Florida assignment. And that'll be the best chance to get into officer school. So then we
What did you do in Florida?
drove back to Utah, and I flew to Florida, and I went to a communications school, which for special radio operators. I would have been on a ship intercepting, or on land intercepting Morse code signals that the enemy was sending out.
That was for Vietnam.
That was Vietnam time, and Vietnam was over then, pretty much over. But he still had the threat of the Russians and other people. So I went to this schooling, and a month after I was there, you came down with Trent and continued on. They observed me for a couple of months, and then they said, okay, now we can evaluate you for officer school. So I had a special physical fitness test and some other things. Submitted my application, was accepted to officer school to start in March
Wasn't that record time?
of 72. And that was pretty much record time. That 9 months after starting active duty, I ended up at officer school in Quantico, Virginia.
That didn't usually happen that fast.
No. So we moved to Quantico, Virginia. We stayed with my sister for a week or so, and then I went to OCS, officer school, and you and Trent flew home to Utah. And then after a month, you came back and you got an apartment off base. And
So where else did you live while you were in the military?
So then we ended up in base housing in a nice townhouse on the base once I became a second lieutenant.
And then after we left Virginia?
Then we stayed there for a full year in Quantico, and then we were off to California, Camp Pendleton, and we got military housing on the base. And that's, let's see, I guess first Brian had been born while we were still in Virginia. And then once we got to California, then Lance was born during our time there. And we had 2 years at Camp Pendleton, and we were involved in the LDS ward and enjoyed our time there.
Decided to get out
Decided to get out of the Corps
after 4 years.
after 4 years active duty. Went back to Bountiful and ended up getting involved 3 months later in the Marine Corps Reserve. They happened to have an opening, and so I was involved in that for 3 years and was promoted to captain during my last year. Then I thought, that's the end of my time. So I got out, and 9 years went by. Then I had children in high school, and I needed more income. And so I thought, well, the Reserve and the Guard can be good options. And so the Marine Reserve said, we can only make you a sergeant, but the Army National Guard said, we can make you a sergeant, a staff sergeant, and help try to get your captain's rank back. So I got involved in that, and 17 years later,